Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
Mad Mob. Friday morning. Don't have our meat and potato episode ready yet. We have some details that we're ironing out as far as the Mad Fantasy Football Olympics go. So we plan on getting some of those details ironed out and post that episode Saturday morning. But since we're a podcast for the people and you all expect one every Friday morning, here we are throwing a Q&A at you, hot and heavy. Gentlemen, how are we?
We're good, man. Have we leaked details of the Olympics? The Mad
No
Fantasy?
deets. No deets. Just that it all started when you called Begley fat.
I called him not so nimble for a laser maze. That's all. You guys have opened the floodgates and just poured on this man, and he turned a blind eye to it. He's only seen my lack of nimbleness comment.
Would you say that to a skinny person? I think not.
Yeah. Say it to whoever doesn't look nimble.
I'm calling malarkey on that.
How do you determine who looks nimble and who doesn't look nimble?
The eye test.
Exactly.
Standard eye test.
Boom. Boom. He just sets a threshold. If he thinks you're 270 and up, forget about it.
No, that's not true. That's not true. We used to work with a certain guy who loved to drink like 7 Mountain Dews a day, Wayne, that you know, and I would definitely call him not nimble.
Yeah, I think you're referring to the guy that before we were getting a basketball game together, and he's not nimble at all, and he bet a pizza that he would block one of your shots that night, and you accepted the bet, and he stuffed one right back into your nostrils, this not so nimble guy, and you had to buy him a pizza.
So would you call him nimble or not?
No.
All right.
But this
debunked.
This guy is super unathletic, and you can tell. So what did you call from Begley? Is he unathletic or is he fat or is it both?
He's just not nimble enough for a laser maze, man. It's just call a spade
Hey,
here.
there's no way you can weasel your way out of this one. Either he's really unathletic or he's fat. That's why he's not nimble.
Goni hasn't seen me do anything athletic besides shoot a basketball. That I dominated him in, by the way. That's the only thing he's seen me do athletically in his life. So it has to be fatness. It can be nothing else. You think I'm
call it what you want, man.
You think
call
I'm
it what you want.
Fat, don't you? Just say it.
I don't.
I want to hear.
Dude.
We'll get into this. We see. We're gonna save this for our tight end episode because tight ends are boring. So all of this banter you will get Saturday morning. We're gonna just release the floodgates. I'm going to play Dr. Phil and let them get after it, and every now and then I'll jump in and stir the pot a little. But we'll save all this for the tight end episode that we'll definitely need to have some filler. This one is our Q&A. First off, Andrew Voorhees, man. Sorry. That sucks. That's a bad beat. Did y'all hear what happened to him?
No.
O-lineman tore his ACL at the combine.
Oh, no.
Tore his ACL at the combine? And then went back and did the deadlift and did the best.
What a dude.
Trying
Football
to salvage.
Yeah.
Feel bad for him, though.
But yeah, that sucks. All right, let's get into some Qs and we'll throw out the A's.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into it. Sorry, give me a second. Let me scroll down. If I need to turn my gain down from my heavy breathing, Wayne, just tell me. My lover Totoro, 12-team Superflex. His team's not competitive. He's got 2 trades. First one is he's giving away Jacoby Myers to get Gabe Davis. The second one is Jacoby Myers and Rashid Shaheed for Malik Willis in the 2023 209 to Superflex, obviously. Do you guys like either of those trades?
If I had to choose one.
Those are really too low level to do anything for somebody rebuilding. Right? I mean, if you're going to do one of them, you probably want to go out and get Malik Willis in the 209. But the Jacoby Myers for Gabe Davis is just kind of a wash for me. Honestly, I think Jacoby Myers has got a better floor.
That's where I'm at with it. Jacoby Myers is the best guy of the bunch here. I don't even think Malik Willis is going to be anything. He might, but I highly doubt it. He didn't look great when he was playing last year. Gabe Davis is very boomer bust. They might give him another chance this year. And if he fumbles it again, the opportunity, then it's gone. Jacoby Myers is constant. He's a PPR machine. He set a career high. He finally scored some touchdowns this year. I'd rather just hang on to Jacoby Myers. He's still young enough to where he can stay on a rebuilding team.
I disagree. I'm going to go Gabe Davis. I'm shipping Jacoby Myers away. We don't know what he is outside of New England when he was the number one receiving option. If he goes somewhere where he's playing second fiddle, his targets are going to get cut down. Gabe Davis is still a baby. He's not going to be the wide receiver one that some of us projected him to be, or a high wide receiver two. But I think he still has room to grow. I think he's more talented than Jacoby Myers. I'm going to take Gabe.
I think Jacoby Myers, though, even though he's the number one, they're in a low passing offense, man. Mac Jones isn't anything special, and we run the ball a whole lot, being a Patriots fan and all. Jacoby Myers is a dude. He's definitely a dude.
He's a dude, but we haven't seen him in a different scheme. We just don't know what he's going to be. He's probably not going to be in New England, right?
I don't know. They're talking about going and getting DeAndre Hopkins right now, so I really would love for that to happen. But I think Jacoby Myers as the number two would eat in New England or anywhere, really. Jacoby Myers is good. He's got talent.
Is this a situation where you'd wait and see where he goes? Or does it not matter? You're still taking Jacoby.
I'd still take Jacoby. As much love as I put on Gabe Davis last year, that man needs to apply a massive amount of stickum to his gloves.
I'll offer you a joint. You want to take Gabe and Jacoby?
Sure. Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm not
give up on it. I know you're fading Gabe for personal reasons, and I respect that.
Yeah.
The talent is there, just needs a little more volume.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much more volume you can get than Josh Allen.
We had an argument today, Wayne and I. He's not that good of a pocket passer. I'm still taking Gabe.
He's still going to put up 4,000 plus easy.
Sure. He's just not going to complete a lot of them. He'll do 4,000 really inefficiently.
65+%, man. He's come a long way.
He was one of the worst.
Very long way
last year.
What was his percentage?
Wayne, what was it? 22nd in the league?
I do not remember.
It was.
I'll argue anything that he who shan't be named, the man that is never invited to the podcast, whatever point he's making, I'll do my best to find any scrap of evidence to argue the opposite. And I think that's what I was doing.
He's the Voldemort of the podcast, if you will.
Yep, absolutely.
Fair enough. We got a couple Facebook questions in today, so Beggs and I are going to ping pong back and forth between Facebook and Reddit. Boys, I'm ready for you to laugh at me as I butcher this first name. Ben Teljonic.
If it's Facebook right. People, just hit us with the last initial.
Whatever, man. He's got a single quarterback dynasty.
What a rude response.
Whatever, man. Single quarterback dynasty. He wants to know Lamar for pick 201. He has Lamar and someone offered him the 201. He also has Justin Fields. He says it seems low to him, but he's curious about other people's thoughts on Lamar's situation. He's been trying to track it for a while. The guy that offered also has Kyler. So he said he knows that Kyler's injured, but he's trying to get Kyler in the 201 for Lamar. What do you think the value on that?
If somebody offered me the 201 for Lamar, I'd drive to their house and spit on their shoes. Even in a single quarterback. Just the 201 for Lamar?
Yeah, it's egregious.
Kyler 201, I'd consider, but I don't know that I would still do that. Because Kyler without D-Hop, he was not so good.
Bex, how do you feel, man, with that face up there? The sour milk.
Ugh. Dude, the guy, I mean, it's wise on the other guy's part, right? Try to buy super low while Lamar's getting all this bad press. No way in hell I'm trading Lamar for that, man. And I'm not trading him for Kyler Murray either.
I'm not either. I'm standing pat on Lamar. You can keep the 201. You can keep Kyler Murray. I don't care where Lamar Jackson goes. He's a rushing quarterback. He's a former MVP. The guy's phenomenal. Just get that out of there with
This
that.
is one of those trades where I respond to the trade. Like I'll send a trade Lamar for Kyler the 201 and then his number one running back.
Number one receiver. Number one pick.
Yeah, like it just
something stupid.
I send an egregious trade back just as like a virtual way to flip him the bird. Beggs, Reddit. Oh, this is already going terribly, boys. If you're going back and forth, let's determine it now so we don't have any weird bodes of silence again.
Shifting Evan, 5 half-point PPR, super flex. He's getting a 24 first and second for Calvin Ridley and Dalton Schultz.
I mean,
do you know where they're at?
What do you mean?
The first round picks, do you know if they're mid?
It's 2024. It didn't really say.
2024. To be determined.
Oh, he does say they look like his best guess is mid to late.
I don't think I'd do it for a mid to late. Calvin Ridley's got a good opportunity to be successful in that offense. Trevor Lawrence took huge leaps from last year. He could be a dark horse wide receiver, front end wide receiver too next year. And then Dalton Schultz is. We just don't know about him. We don't know where he's going. I mean, obviously, they did not use the franchise tag on him, so they're going to roll with Jason Ferguson. But if a team goes out and gets him, they obviously plan on using him.
Jacob Ferguson.
What did I say, Jason?
Names. Yeah, it don't matter. Anyway,
Jay, my boy Jay Ferg.
Yeah, just when you're talking about fantasy football players, just use the first initial.
Whatever, man.
Fair enough. I'm on the other side. I'm probably going to take the picks just because I know that I like Calvin Ridley as like a buy low candidate this year, and he's a mystery box, and he could put up great numbers, but he's still a mystery box. He still hasn't played for a year and a half. You don't know necessarily what you're going to get out of him. I don't think Christian Kirk or Evan Ingram, being still in the offense is necessarily going to lower his target share, but it could be like I don't know. It could be like it's your game, like Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs and their wide receivers. It's going to be a Juju game, and then it's going to be an MVS game, and then it's going to be strictly Travis Kelce game. Like, I just don't know if we see a whole lot of constant production out of it, and so I'd rather just kind of cash in and take the picks. Dalton Schultz could be nothing in a terrible tight end position. He could be, if he's like 8 through 10. What is that for you at the tight end spot?
Yeah, Dalton Schultz is worth nothing once he leaves Dallas. He's going to get paid somewhere and disappear. I think if you can get a second for him, great. You may be able to get a very late first if you're very lucky. To me, it's good value here, right? I mean, I think Calvin's for a first and second for these two players is good. I like Calvin this year. I'm not trading him. I want to see what I've got. Doug Peterson's got those boys rolling. Trevor Lawrence may have found his spot. I mean, Calvin's got an opportunity to be a number 2, the number 1, and you see how well he's done when he shared the spotlight in Atlanta. He can absolutely hold his own if he is second on the team in targets. So I like Calvin Ridley a lot. I'm holding here, but that's just based on my own projections. It's good value.
Michael Ellison has a 10-man dynasty. He says he doesn't have a great team, but he feels like there's a few moves that he can make to make it solid. So in this 10-man dynasty, he wants to know what moves he should try to make. His roster is Justin Fields. I'm just going to go down like the starters and maybe a couple bench guys. Justin Fields, Swift, ETN, DJ Moore, Christian Watson, Evan Ingram, Najee, Mike Evans, Gabe Davis, kicker defense. And then he's got Dak Prescott, Kyle Trask, A.J. Dillon, Elijah Moore, Josh Palmer on the bench. He's also got Dotson, Jahan Dotson on his taxi, and Greg Dulcich. And he's sitting on the 104, it looks like, the 201, and the 202.
He's not far off, is he?
It's not as bad as I thought it would be when I started reading it.
I like his running backs. He's got Swift, ETN, and A.J. Dillon waiting in the wings. That's pretty solid.
Najee,
yeah. Well, here's my thought with Najee. I would couple Najee with Mike Evans. That way because Mike Evans is at hold the bag territory now. So I feel like the only way you can get a good pull for him is if you couple him with another young good player. And I feel like with D Swift and ETN, you've got a nice young starting core group of running backs. AJ Dillon's a good backup to have. And I feel like if you couple Najee and Mike Evans, you can go out and snag a pretty good wide receiver. I feel like you'll need a wide receiver. That being said, so that's kind of my initial thought here is take Najee, couple him with Mike Evans, and go after a good receiver. I'm talking like a high-end wide receiver 2, back-end wide receiver 1. That's what Najee should be able to get you.
I was going to A.J. Brown.
Yes. Najee, when you couple Najee with Mike, you're getting off of Mike, so you're not holding the bag on him, and you can still get a good pull because Najee's he's a good one. And everybody knows that if you've listened to earlier episodes that I fade Najee. Just not a good system, and he hasn't just shown anything. That being said, your diamond in the rough here, in my opinion, is Josh Palmer. I think he could definitely be a stud. But that's kind of my initial move here. Couple Mike Evans with Najee, go get you a nice WR1 or good WR2.
Is it a super flex?
It is not.
I agree with Wayne. You got to cut one of the running backs loose to get a wide receiver talent. But I'll play devil's advocate. I think at the 104, you can go get your receiver choice. They're all going to be there. If it's Smith and Jigba or if it's Jordan Addison, you can get your guy here. The 201, there's a lot of good options. Right now, Keishon Butte from LSU didn't have a good combine. He's dropping. Quentin Johnson is getting some negative press. He might slip in drafts, especially if in your league people go for running back heavy or some of the quarterbacks go early. You never know. I mean, I think there's...
Where do you think he's slipping to?
The 201, possibly?
No way.
Well, I've seen Addison, and I've seen Addison go 1-2, right, in recent drafts. With the way that Bryce Young is getting hyped up, he's going to be a first rounder. Maybe Anthony Richardson. That's 4 spots. And then you've got the Bijan. You've got the Gibbs. You're looking at Charbonnet. You're looking at a lot of these running backs, A-Chain, that are getting the hype. I know in our league, our Dynasty Warriors League, the rookie drafts get weird. Jamar Chase slipped to 4th. You guys got Waddle at 6th. That should have never happened.
We got Waddle at 8.
At 8.
And Jamar went 6. Yeah, incredible. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but you're assuming that all quarterbacks are going to be taken off the board in a single quarterback league, and I just don't think that happens.
It might not, and Quentin Johnson may not be there. I'm just saying that I think there's going to be good receiving talent that slips into that 201 pick because they didn't test well at the combine. There were no stud wide receivers who had a good combine. None. 0. You know, I mean, obviously Flowers and Downs are going to be there. I think you can draft and get your wide receiver room in a decent shape if you can't make trades. That's the point I'm trying to make, but I agree with Wayne.
Would you do Mike Evans and the 104 for like a Devonta Smith or a T. Higgins? Or I'm just trying to think of like a young guy. Probably not enough for you.
No, if he's probably going to get Smith and Jigba or Addison at 104.
Yeah.
That's
It's
pretty
probably the route to go. Draft organically with those. So are we telling him basically you should probably just go ahead and try and draft organically? Gabe Davis is in his flex spot. Mike Evans is in his flex spot. It looks like there's 3 flexes there, and Najee's the other one as well. I like Evan Ingram where he's got him.
Well, he might be able to do like a Mike Evans and the 104 to move up to the 102 and snag Gibbs, and then Najee can pull. Najee should easily be able to pull like a T Higgins. That way he fills up his receiver room. You can easily get rid of Najee without worrying about it. You can have a running back.
He needs a big time receiver though. He needs a big time receiver. He has DJ Moore and Christian Watson as his starters. And then Mike Evans and Gabe Davis is like his flexes. He needs a true like number 1 guy at the wide receiver spot. He's set at running back.
I'll tell you something else you may want to entertain. If you know how your draft's going to go from the 104 to the 106, trade back a spot or 2, and try to get a wide receiver along with it. I don't know what you can get for that, moving back 2 spots. Probably not a great receiver, but you can get depth that way. I don't know how far. Yeah. It depends on who his guy is.
You could honestly trade Mike Evans and Najee Harris for another first-round pick and maybe another wide receiver piece. If you're trading with the 106, for example, what would you need for Mike Evans and Najee Harris, the 106 plus what?
A player. I mean, a player that I can use at least in the flex for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean,
okay.
Just
What
in a
would you do Mike Evans and Najee Harris for the 106 and Jacoby?
No, I need more than Jacoby.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't do that either.
What do y'all think about that though? If he's going out and if he flips Najee and Mike Evans for another first round pick and a flexible receiver, that's his best bet, right? He essentially flips one receiver and one running back that's probably not starting on a regular basis for 3 receivers.
Sure. I mean,
three receivers counting his draft pick. I mean, obviously.
I don't hate it, but my personal preference. Yeah, I don't either. My personal preference. Go get Smith and Jigba and pray that he hits, and keep Najee. I mean, to me, you can trade Mike Evans and Najee. I agree with you, but I don't think I'm looking to get another pick. I'm looking to get a proven piece there, and I'll get Smith and Jigba at the 104.
I just don't know how you move Mike Evans at this point without coupling him with an attractive player.
Oh, I agree. It's a good package. What about? I'm trying to think of a player. What about a Judy plus for those 2? Judy in a second.
That'd be solid. I mean, Judy's still technically a buy low.
Yeah.
You guys know you know how I feel about Hollywood. I think you might be able to get a first and a Hollywood out of that. Interesting. I like those kind of questions. Those are fun. Buck Destiny, 10-team Superflex. He has 2 trades. Trade 1, Freiermuth, a 24-1 and the 301 for Mark Andrews.
Freiermuth and what were the picks? A 301 and what?
A 24-1 and the 301.
No, I'm gonna keep Freiermuth.
Yeah, tight end position is just too. If you don't have Travis Kelce, it's just what's Freiermuth and Mark Andrews typical. You know, you might be losing 5 points on him. Maybe
Agreed.
Freiermuth probably outscored Andrews a little bit this year. You don't know what Lamar Jackson's situation is. Best case scenario, Lamar Jackson's back in Baltimore, but he's pissed. So I mean,
yeah.
It's just a tight end
wasn't
position.
getting targets. He wasn't getting targets like for a good part of the year, Mark Andrews. And Freiermuth's been in the league for 2 years, and he's looked pretty good for all things considered. Young tight ends don't really put up a lot of points. Tight end position in general doesn't really put up a lot of points, but especially the young ones, and he's been pretty impressive for his first 2 years. So yeah, I'd rather just it's a crappy position anyways. Don't go and try and upgrade that with a Mark Andrews.
I'm just not in the business of mortgaging my future to get a little bit better at the tight end position.
Yep. You guys know I'll die on the hill. Mark Andrews is overrated. He had 300-point year. Everybody wanted him to be the new Kelsey. This year, he returned back to his 200-point home. He's a 200-point-a-year tight end. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Not to mention our meat and potatoes episodes that end with such and such for MVP started with Freiermuth.
Freiermuth
for MVP was the OG.
Dude, throw us a few tips, Pat. All right.
Man.
Second trade. DeAndre Swift, the 201 and a 24 first for McCaffrey. Swift, 201 and a 24-1 for McCaffrey.
If you're competing, yes. Is that where you're going, Wayne?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead and say it for both of us.
Yeah, bro. If you're a contender, make it happen. That's a championship caliber piece right there. You don't know. I mean, Swift has all the talent in the world, but if he sees the field like he did last year, then it's just he's never going to realize his potential, really, if that's the case. I really hope that's different. He was playing with injuries a whole lot last year. He kind of became like just the receiving back towards the back half of the season. And Christian McCaffrey is, I think, a lock for top 3 again this year. The offense is phenomenal. We thought, his production was going to go down when he went to San Francisco. They've just got so many mouths to feed there. The offense is so dynamic. And he ate. He caught out of the backfield. He ran out of the backfield. He threw out of the backfield. He does it all. He's the best running back in football when he's healthy.
He's got a competing roster. I'll tell you that. He's definitely going to be top half in the league for sure. But it's a super flex, and he's rolling with Dak and Deshaun Watson. So he's going to be playing. He's going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball at the quarterback spot. But
Deshaun Watson plays halfway decent, and he's got McCaffrey putting up 20+ a week. McCaffrey fills a lot of holes. He covers a lot of weaknesses when he's on your team.
That's right. That's a clean sweep, Buck. We're all taking CMC, and we're not taking the Andrews trade.
Chris Forster. He wants opinions on Jordan Love. He has Jordan Love, and he was offered the 111. His other quarterbacks, Lamar, Pickett, Trask. He has the 105, and he's also likely to draft a quarterback. This is a super flex league.
Dude,
so what do you feel on?
Pause the podcast, man. Go accept that trade immediately.
You're getting hype price for Jordan Love. You're not getting production price. Take it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that. The 111 is good value for him, and at the 105, you're likely to draft a quarterback anyways. So maybe you get like an Anthony Richardson or just really anyone. If you get any of those top quarterbacks, they could be thrust into the starting role. You still have Pickett to fall back on, and then Trask might be a pleasant surprise every now and then. So yeah, go ahead and accept that trade.
Yeah. Streaks, guy on Reddit who has been a listener of the podcast before. Streaks, we appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
12-team Superflex PPR. I love these questions. What value should I look for when trading down from the 101 to the 102 to 104 range? If he's trading back from the 101 to, say, the 102, 103, what value should he get in return?
I think there's a big gap. There's a big gap between trading back from the 102 to the 103 because the 102 is it's a super flex, but I still think, regardless, Bijan's number 1 overall. He's a generational talent. He's going to be great. He's going to go somewhere where he's utilized immediately. And then if you drop to the 102, if you know kind of how the draft is going to go, the 102 is probably going to be Gibbs still, unless the 2 like desperately needs a quarterback. But that's kind of what I'm looking at is what your needs are. If you need a quarterback, I just think the gap from 102 to 103 is huge. And the gap from 101 to 102 is pretty big, considering it's Bijan. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a lot. I'm looking for a lot because you're trading off of Bijan.
What about Devonta Smith in the 102 for the 101?
Done.
That's solid. That's solid.
Done. Yeah, bro. That's hard to come off of right there.
Okay. What about the 103 and Deontay Johnson?
No, I wouldn't do that. If I'm at the 103, if I'm getting the 103 or 104, I'm probably going to need another first, a late first.
What about the 104 and Judy?
I would do that.
That's a tough one. In a vacuum, probably would do it. We don't know the roster construction, but in a vacuum, yeah, I would do it.
103 and J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, I'm high on JK though, and that's going to be kind of a personal preference thing.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it. I would take Bijan there.
The 102 and Najee.
I would take that.
I fade Najee. I feel like I would have to take that.
Wayne hates Najee, but it's two running backs essentially right there. It's two running backs.
Yeah, worst case scenario, if you don't need a quarterback, that's Najee and Gibbs for Bijan. I feel like you got to do it.
Okay, two more. Let's say ETN in the 104.
Yes.
I'd probably do that as well. It's hard to pass up.
The 102 and Michael Pittman.
No,
not until they get their quarterback situation figured out.
Yeah, I'm just down on Michael Pittman. That's all.
Okay. So from your all's answers, you're looking at a top 18 player at their position.
Absolutely.
So a top 18 guy either way in the 102 pair.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way Bijan is expected to help your roster going forward, you're going to have to get something back that's pretty much guaranteed production. Bijan Robinson coming in right now is probably an auto top 5 or 6 dynasty running back, right? Without playing a single game, a single snap, he's probably a top 5 or 6 running back.
Yeah,
easily
in dynasty, of course.
What about one of the rookie wide receivers, London, Wilson, or Olave? Either one of those, along with the pick, moving the needle for you guys?
I'd consider Olave.
I'm glad you said that, man, because I feel like we talk about Drake London so much. I'm real high on Olave this year. I was high on him before they got Derek Carr.
So Olave in 104, would you do it?
Yeah, I would. But again, that's like a personal preference thing. I'm very high on Olave. If you think London is going to be better than Olave, then I would do London in a 104. I personally wouldn't because they haven't figured out their quarterback situation there. I was fine with the Red Rocket throwing it to Chris Olave. I'm not okay with Desmond Ridder right now.
I take Olave in the 102 going. The 104 is a precipitous fall from the 101.
Yeah. Olave in the 102, lock it up right there. Plus, at the 104, you're missing out on a running back. I know it's super flex, so maybe you end up taking a quarterback if you need it, but I don't know. Running backs are hard to come by.
Yeah, if I'm going to the 104, I need proven. I don't need hype. I want seen it, done it.
Yep.
If I'm at 102, I'll take the hype.
Yep, especially in this draft.
Hey, so speaking of Olave, Colin Moran is in a keeper league. So he wants to know, would you rather give up an 11th round pick to keep Olave or give up your 7th round pick and keep Amon-Ra?
Ooh.
I'm gonna take the 11th and Olave.
Wayne?
Man, that one's tough. I think I'm keeping.
A good one.
I think I'm keeping Amon-Ra. We're talking the 7th round here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're getting your dudes before that round rolls around.
Yeah, that's tremendous value, I think, out of a guy who can easily be a top 12 receiver any given year. Even with Jameson Williams coming back, Jared Goff balled out last year. I don't really expect anything to change. 7th round pick for Amon-Ra it's great. It's phenomenal. I'm on board with that as well.
Yeah, you guys make good arguments. My counter argument's going to be that in the 7th there's still value at the receiver position, just like there always is, right? You can always strike gold there. Give me the 11th. You're less likely to find gold in the 11th than you are in the 7th. That's all.
Fair.
Just a value play.
Understandable.
Okay. Got a kind of a long-winded here. Spoke of Wood. 12-team Superflex.
Welcome back, Spoke of Wood.
Spoke of Wood, yes. He's looking to receive the 107. He's looking to package one of these 3 receivers with a 2nd-round pick. Pittman, Ayuk, or Hollywood?
Pittman, Ayuk, or Hollywood? What is he doing here?
Pittman, Ayuk, or Hollywood with a 24-2 to get the 107. What do y'all think about that?
Who would we want to get rid of?
Yeah, who would you trade off of his roster with a 2nd to get the 107?
Ayuk.
I thought you were done going against Ayuk, man. I thought you
No,
were done.
I think Pittman has solid potential if they can figure it out. And Hollywood without D-Hop played very well. So I'm just looking for that to continue. He might have a rough start if Kyler's not ready to go because he didn't do too good with Trace. But I think Hollywood is your best receiver out of the 3. I think you definitely need to keep him if you have the choice. And for me, Ayuk is going to give you he's going to give you immediate points. But I think Pittman, if they can get him a quarterback, I think he is better than Ayuk. So it's just, if you're willing to gamble, then I would stick with Pittman and send Ayuk.
It just feels gross. Like, as much as I don't like Pittman, it feels gross to throw him in. Like, even if it was Pittman straight up for the 107, I don't know if I'd want to just re-roll Pittman just yet. Feels like it's a little too early. Ayuk could be regressing next year. Honestly, he had a kind of a breakout season this year. It was with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy probably won't be back from Tommy John surgery. Trey Lance could be the starter there. We don't know what the offense looks like. We don't know who he favors when he's in there. So I mean, it's probably going to be Ayuk for me as well. Still feels gross.
I think all 3 of them are better than the 107. I'm keeping.
That's fair. That's probably the right answer.
Keeping every single one of them.
In all reality,
choose. I agree with you all. I'm taking Ayuk just for the Trey Lance factor. I think Pittman's super talented.
Yeah. Okay. Jason Workman, 12-team Superflex Dynasty. He's a contender. He gives up Diggs, the 108 and the 205 for Olave and the 106. It helps him get younger, move up a couple spots in the draft to take a good running back. That's what he's looking for. His running backs are Swift, ETN, and Rashad White. His other wide receivers, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Calvin Ridley, Jameson Williams. So do you make the move and give up Diggs? He'd also have the 109 and 3 second-round picks.
Clean sweep, Wayne? You were taking a lot.
He's contending, man. He's contending. Why are we clean sweeping a contender?
Get the brooms out. You're taking Olave in the 106, and I'll hear nothing else of it. Right?
What say you, Wayne?
What's he giving up? Diggs,
the 108 and 205 to get Olave in the 106. So he
he's
moves
giving
up in the first round.
He's giving up Diggs and 2 picks behind the 106.
Olave in the 106, Wayne. It's a no-brainer.
Is downgrading from Diggs to Olave worth 2 picks?
Yeah.
Jumping 2 picks, not 2 picks. And we're completely forgetting that he's also throwing in a second-round pick.
So, I don't care. Yes.
Wayne makes good points, man. I was on the fence, but he's swaying me right now.
He makes good points, but there's a huge gap in the
If
106.
you're a contender, are you willing to trade Diggs to jump from the 108 to the 106?
So
and he's saying he wants a running back. Who's going to be
exactly.
there?
That's
Who's
where I
going
was
to
gonna
be
go.
there?
There's going to be a lot of people there.
At the 106? The drop from the 106 to 108 in running backs is minuscule. And you're going from Diggs to Olave, which is not so minuscule. And he's a contender.
This to me sounds exactly like he knows his league. And I think he knows. To me, when I hear that question, he knows he's got to get to the 106 to have a shot at an RB.
Yeah, I like his running backs. I don't even know why he's so they're not too bad.
He doesn't have depth is the problem. Swift, ETN, Rashad White. I'm with Wayne though on this side of give me the top 5 receiver that's Stephon Diggs. I'm a contender. I have a chance. Stephon Diggs can flat out win you a week. He could drop a 30 bomb any given week in the offense that he plays in. And it's 2 picks. There's going to be guys there. There's a drop off from Bijan. It's Bijan, drop off, Gibbs, drop off, everyone else, essentially. I know people have their favorites here and there. Beggs, you've mentioned Charbonnet a bunch of times. I understand that. He might be gone as well, but there's still going to be running backs there for him to take. And you just need to hit on one of these guys.
If he's wanting to move Diggs because he's deep at receiver to get a running back, are you not considering Stephon Diggs? If you're a Breece Hall owner, are you not considering Stephon Diggs in the 108? If you have Breece Hall and I send you Stephon Diggs in the 108.
No, I'm going to let that rot.
Goni?
I'm probably going to keep Breece Hall also, man.
Okay, then give him somebody he can go for. Stephon Diggs in the 108 for a proven running back.
Swift. Oh, he's got Swift, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has Swift and ETN. Basically, what it comes down to here, though, is he can afford to stay, I guess, old, if you want to call it that, with Stephon Diggs at the wide receiver spot. He's got Drake London and Garrett Wilson, both came, and Jameson Williams, all came out last year. That's 3 rookies. And then he's got Terry McLaurin and the mystery box that's Calvin Ridley. So
I'm not moving.
I feel like he can. It's a top 5 wide receiver bags.
I'm not moving.
I know
him to jump
all of
2
us
spots.
love Olave.
I do love Olave, and to me, Diggs is better than Olave. I'm not going to question that. There's a very big drop from the 106 to 108 to me. If you want a running back, you're after the 106, you're better off going receiver, in my opinion. I think you've got to get to the top 6 to get a running back out of this class. That's going to be a lock.
There's a diamond in the rough every year. There's a couple, man.
Sure, but I think
the
there's
thing,
a
dude.
drop.
You're moving a top 5 receiver, a perennial top 5 receiver. Get somebody proven. Don't move him to jump 2 spots in the draft. You have a top 5 receiver, you can get somebody proven. Especially if you couple him with the 108.
Yeah, I see what you guys make good points. I am seduced by the fact, and I always will be. You guys, I've said it a million times. Olave produced with bad quarterback play last year. That's a major checkbox for me. I am bullish on Olave.
Andy Dalton wasn't that bad. He was not that bad. He was not that bad.
Wayne?
He was good enough to not have a job this year, if that means anything.
Come on, bro.
He was good enough to keep the job whenever Jameis Winston got healthy.
Wayne.
That's not saying much, though.
Yes, it is. For a team to have a guy and then when he's healthy to not throw him back in.
I mean, a guy that throws 30 interceptions in a season, yeah, it's not hard.
And
to beat
30
that.
tutties and 5,000 yards.
Cool. 30 tutties is like a standard year. That's not anything special.
He was QB 22. Andy Dalton was.
Well, he didn't play a lot. He wasn't the starter at the beginning of the year.
He started 14 games. He played the majority. And He threw for 2,800 yards in 14 games. That's
Bottom
horrific.
line, though, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how I know Olave produced. We all love Olave, but we're talking. This guy's a contender, man. This guy's a contender. Stephon Diggs can deliver you a championship potentially.
Okay. This is a classic scenario to me of selling a guy a year early versus a year late. You taught me that.
Fair enough.
Okay. If next year, can you trade Diggs for Olave straight up?
Depending on how the year goes, probably not. No, just
not.
based off age alone, and if they follow the same trajectory, say Diggs puts up another top 5 season, and Olave improves upon his season, or does
let's say he's a top 30 guy.
No, you probably won't be able to trade straight up for him next year.
Yeah, but I'm projecting him into my top 24. You guys may not, and that's okay. I'm trading a year early, and I'm going to move up to get a top running back in this class. I want every piece of this class I can get.
Well, first off, at the 106, you're not getting a top running back in the class. They're already gone.
I disagree.
You're getting the tier 2s. Second, I'm not saying he needs to sit on Stephon Diggs, but I'm saying he can get something proven with Stephon Diggs. Third, even if he does hold the bag on Stephon Diggs, but he goes and gets rings while he's holding the bag, that's okay. That's it. That means Stephon Diggs served his purpose, because at the end of the day, somebody has to drop a player to the waivers. We had to drop Julio Jones to the waivers. We're probably going to drop Zeke to the waivers. These are players that helped us win championships. Somebody is going to have to drop these studs to the waivers. And if it's you, but you won championships with them, so be it.
That's why I don't mind it so much, because he has 3 guys that were rookies last year, and they're all studs.
That's what I'm saying. So, That's why if you want to move them and you don't want to hold the bag, whatever. But couple them with your pick and go get something proven. But if you have to hold the bag and he gives you a ring in the meantime, you're happy.
Yeah. Wayne and I are always going to disagree on this. You and I have different philosophies when it comes to Dynasty. Goni's the fence guy here on this one.
Yeah.
I'm taking Kendra Miller here from TCU in the 106. He's not going to be there at the 108. Wayne's taking the top 5 guy. I can respect it. Gone, it sounds like you're leaning toward the top 5 guy as well.
I'm taking the top 5 guy. I'm keeping Diggs, and I'm going for that championship.
Okay. I'm going to sell a year early versus a year late, and I might pay the price. Okay. Dubred 3403, 10-team Superflex. If I offered you, I'm reading it. If I offered you Odell Beckham Jr.
Gross. I'll give you some fab.
Alan Lazard, Derek Carr, the 110, and the 203 for your 104.
Trade calculator.
Hang on. It's a super flex. It's a super flex. Hang on. He's offering you OBJ, Lazard, Derek Carr, the 110, and the 203 for your 104. And if your best receiver was Julio, don't know how that's possible.
No.
But if that's your best receiver, would you take it?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I feel like you have to. That seems like a where if you're rebuilding, that's just a dream, basically, if you're rebuilding.
No, I disagree. That guy's not looking at the right roster. There's no way somebody's best receiver can be Julio. I could go onto the waivers right now and find people better than Julio, and that's a fact. I'll do. You know what? You give your opinion, Begley. I'm gonna go onto the waivers of one of our leagues really quick.
So to me, it's Carr, the 110, and the 203 for the 104, right? Because Lazard and OBJ are throwing. Nobody cares. They're trash.
Lazard's at least Lazard's going to do better than Julio next year, I promise.
Well, that's true. Okay. All right. So Lazard, Carr, the 110, and the 203 for the 104. And a super flex, it's not horrendous value to me, just from the Derek Carr aspect of it. But if my best receiver is Julio, I'm keeping the 104 and I'm building to the draft. That's just me.
I want to know how this team was only the fourth worst team in the league last year with Julio Jones as the best wide receiver.
Maybe they sold all their wide receivers for running backs. I don't know. Gross.
Yeah, absolutely emptied the cupboards.
Gross.
Yeah, I'm going to take the package. I'll take the package. Give me those guys. You're still getting the 110, so you have a pick in the draft. Derek Carr's he's going to be there for a little bit, so you at least have another super flex quarterback. I don't know what this roster looks like at all, but you're getting more picks. You need more picks anyways. You're getting 2 picks out of it also and a couple of usable players.
Yeah. All right, go.
Wayne, before we move on, have you found anything worthy of just something better than Julio Jones?
Dude, I got I was scrolling through and I see, the Kenny Galladays and the Paris Campbells.
I'll take Paris Campbell.
Yeah, Richie James has some
I'll take Richie James.
potential, yes, for sure. Equinemius St. Brown.
Done.
Your boy, Westbrook Akine.
Whose boy is that? Is that Goni's boy?
Whose boy? Yeah.
I thought that was your boy, Beggs.
Why would you think that?
I don't know.
Cool.
Hey, he's yours now.
All right. So yeah, all right. Basically,
but what made me stop is, do y'all want to know who's still fairly high up here? I could give you 100 guesses and you wouldn't guess them.
No. All right. So tell us.
Henry Ruggs.
Ah.
Apparently his lawyers want the evidence of his blood alcohol to be thrown out because he was injured at the scene of the crash and they couldn't perform the field sobriety, so they didn't have probable cause to take his blood to test it. Because apparently for that you have to fail a field sobriety. To me, it sounds like he's got a lot of money and the best lawyers in the land, and they are finding every loophole possible.
That's
So
what I was gonna say,
somehow
man.
he
That's
has
what money
weaseled his
gets you.
way. He's weaseled his way back up into the ADP just from his lawyer saying, "Wait! We know you all took his blood, and he was way over the legal limit, but you shouldn't have done that."
Yep.
Yeah.
Rot behind bars,
What
man.
happens?
Getting drunk and killing a
Money
woman,
talks.
rot. You shouldn't be signed even if they get you out.
Peter Haberstone.
Sorry, that took a bad turn.
PPR Dynasty.
Is it Haberstone?
Would you
Possibly.
Haberstone?
I love when Goni takes questions.
That's his name, bro. That's right on point. If you were looking at it, you would pronounce it the same way.
Yeah, I
unless you
know,
can't read.
but why'd you say it so many times? Is it spelled H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A and then goes into it? Why'd you say, hey, Haberstrom? That's it.
This isn't Begley pronouncing a name, bro. Calm down.
Wow.
Get bodied. Get bodied one
Are
time.
you saying his tongue is as
Said
nimble as his
Haberstone.
body?
Anyways, PPR Dynasty. Would you trade Justin Fields for Justin Herbert or keep Fields?
I'm taking Herbert. 100
Herbert
times
all
over.
day.
I thought that was an easy one as well. I didn't know if you guys might have.
No, you're
Some
the Fields
insight.
guy. You're the Fields guy.
I'm the Fields guy, but I'm not over Justin Herbert guy. Justin Herbert.
That's
Justin
what I'm
Fields
saying.
is-
I know it's a clean sweep, but if you weren't going to take it, did you think we were?
Yeah, dude, you're the Fields guy.
Throw a wrinkle in, perhaps.
Justin
I don't
Fields
know.
is your boy.
Facts.
When it comes to Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, who's Beggs' boy, yeah, I'll rock Justin Fields all day.
Stop it. A sleep kaleidoscope 36. 12-team half PPR dynasty. Side A, Lamar, Kamara, Isaiah Hodgkins, and Sky Moore. Side B, Deshaun Watson, Justin Ross, DeAndre Swift, and the 105. Lamar, Kamara, Isaiah Hodgkins. It's Hodgins, I think. Sky Moore. Side B, Deshaun, Justin Ross. Why? DeAndre Swift. 5.
I'm going to throw Hodgins in, but you got to throw Ross in.
Oh, man.
Each other, man.
Bro. Is this a super flex?
It's a 2 quarterback, not a super flex.
It's a 2 quarterback, not a super flex. Dear Lord.
Side B.
Give me
Side B. The drop off from Lamar to Deshaun is worth getting D Swift in the 105.
You
I'm
lose that.
probably going to take Lamar.
Plus, dude, you get Ross, man. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah. Isaiah Hodgins clearly outscored Ross this year. Give me the points, as Wayne would say. Give me the points.
Touche. I'm on the other
give me-
side.
Lamar Jackson, man. Lamar Jackson is where I'm going here. Everyone else sucks.
Yeah. Lamar's my guy.
You better not pull off the 105. You better not pull away from the 105.
I was just going to say, actually, now that I look at it, if I'm trading Lamar and getting Deshaun Watson, the Swift, in the 105, I'm doing it. I think I'm going to take the Swift Watson side now that I look at it. Kamara's going to miss half the year if he's lucky. Hodgins is going to be out of New York soon. And Sky Moore, I mean, come on.
I thought there was at least one more usable player in that side.
No.
Yeah. Is there room on the bandwagon? The side B bandwagon?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
scooch over.
Can I hop in there?
Granted, he's
All
not
right, I
very
appreciate
nimble,
it.
so you'll have to squeeze next to me.
Fair enough. I'll squeeze in there. I appreciate it. Yeah, side B for sure. I don't want any part of Kamara anywhere ever. So, Brennan Stelly asks, do we have a value for Hassan Hoskins now that all this noise is coming out about King Henry and that he could be changing teams? Teams are inquiring about him. He's in a deep 12-man, 1 quarterback PPR. It's the 4th year of his dynasty.
This is good dynasty football right here. Tip of the
Yeah.
cap for this guy. If I have Haskins, I'm going to try to get a second for him. He's probably worth an early third, but I'm going to try to get a second.
So I think more so, what do you value him if you have him? What would you pay to go and get him? Do you think he's worth stashing just to see how all this shakes out? Like,
He's
what
definitely
are your
worth stash.
thoughts on being the owner?
I would try. I mean, he's worth, absolutely, like Wayne said, he's worth rostering 100%. I'm going to try to buy him for an early third. That's what I'm going to try. If I have to go to a back end second, I'll do it. Maybe. Yeah, I would.
I think I'd do a back end second.
I'd definitely
for
do
him.
a second, but I'm with you. I'd start with a third, and let the guy you're trading with feel like he's winning because he's going to counter back with your second round pick. I think he's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Knicks, Jets, Yankees. It's got
Ooh.
2 of the worst franchises, and then
Oh,
Yankees to take them over the top. It's a 12-team PPR. He says he's trying to contend. He's giving away Traylon Burks and Sky Moore to get Mike Evans and Amari Cooper.
No. No. Goni.
It's good value for Traylon Burks. You got to admit that, Wayne.
He's trying to contend. What's that mean?
Maybe
he's trying to make the playoffs. He's trying to
Yeah.
make the playoffs and make a run.
he's
is what it
probably
is.
a receiver away, right? Like a one solid set and forget receiver away. But is Mikey the guy?
Mikey's not the guy. That's not the piece I'm coveting there. Amari Cooper's the guy.
Bite your tongue, man.
Amari-
Perpetual
Amari
1,000-yard
Cooper was-
receiver.
Cool, man. Mike Evans he's done after this year. He's washed. He's going to show up for 1 game next year, and that's about it. He was the wide receiver 17 this year. Amari Cooper was the wide receiver 10. He was very good. I don't know if he necessarily goes out and has the year that he had this year because I believe he set a career high in touchdowns with 9. Does he get back there? I don't know. That's a very, the stat can vary. It's a very variable stat, I guess you can say.
That was the worst breakdown of it. The very variable variance of the variable variated stat.
Variable. Yeah, I don't know. I would probably do it. I think, like Beg said, it's great value for Traylon Burks.
I just don't think it's enough to put you over the top.
Yeah, but is it enough for Traylon Burks? That's the question.
Yeah, but it's a dynasty. Are you willing to give up Traylon Burks to go for two old guys to help you contend further? Like,
you confuse me. You're passing on Olave because you want the surefire points from Diggs.
Because I want a top 5 player, yeah.
Okay, but in a trade like this, Evans and Amari Cooper, there's a path to both of those guys being wide receiver ones. Mike Evans is unlikely, but he's also a freak.
I'll put a doink that neither of them are wide receiver ones next year.
I don't want the doink. I'm saying there's a path.
There's a path for anybody to get there. There's a path for Traylon Burks to get there.
No, there's not.
There's not.
No, there's not. But Mike Evans could get there. If Kyle Trask is worth any kind of salt, Mike Evans is a dude still. He's old, but he's a dude. Same with Amari.
Here's what I'm looking at, though. If you're looking at a roster and he's trying to contend, is going from Traylon Burks to Mike Evans and Amari Cooper, is that gonna make your team? Is that what you're missing? Mike Evans and Amari Cooper? Is that gonna make it to where you're trying to contend, to where you are a contender?
Let me give you an example. Your all's Dynasty Warrior teams. I think you're a second running back away from being the favorites. What if you're trading for Derrick Henry in this case? Right? Derrick Henry might be a little better than Evans and Amari at his position, but you get the point. Are you willing to give up young pieces to get that last piece?
Well, then let's go with this. We're not trying to contend right now. We're already contending, looking for that piece to put us over the top. He's trying to contend. So the piece he needs to get him through the trying to contend threshold and then further into the I'm a contender threshold.
Wayne, here's the question.
I hate it.
Right here
Don't you ever start your counter with Wayne.
Wayne, this will be it. Who's going to score more points this year, Traylon Burks or Amari Cooper?
There you go. Done.
Probably Amari Cooper.
Okay, so you get, in essence, I'm not going to hit you with a doink or anything like that. I'm just saying, in essence, it's an upgrade at that position, and then it's another usable piece in Mike Evans, albeit only probably 3 games throughout the season.
Okay, then let me ask you this. If your team is in a 12-man in the 6, 7, 8 range, are they going to be able to push you to the top 3?
It doesn't matter. If you're trying to contend, you're just trying to make the playoffs and go on a hot three-game run.
Okay, but that's very unlikely if you're in a 6, 7, 8 and you're willing to trade for Mike Evans and Amari Cooper. My point here is I would rather just stick with the youth because I feel like you're going to hold the bag on both of these guys next year and you're going to have nothing. You're in a dynasty. Can we agree that Mike Evans and Amari Cooper after next year, they're useless?
I think Mike
Evans could be useless this year, honestly. I don't know.
Okay, so you're trading for useless. Do you think both of them are even tradable after next year? So
I think Amari Cooper, yeah.
Okay. You're more than likely holding the bag on Amari Cooper after this year, though, right?
I think so.
Depending on what you're willing to part.
So if you're going to trade away youth, you have to be going – if you're trading away youth for 2 guys that you're definitely not going to be able to trade after this year, you need to win a championship with them. That's my point. You need to win a championship if you're going to end up holding the bag on 2 receivers next year.
I think we're trying to contend too literally, right? That could be he's already a 6. He's trying to get into the top 3 with this, right? Or he's already a 5 trying to get to the top.
Then that's my answer. If Mike Evans and Amari Cooper put you into the Goney rule, you look at your league and you were like, I'm a top 3 team, then do it. Go get your ring. I've said it earlier in this episode. I'm okay if you're holding the bag and you won a ring doing it. But if you're just doing this to try and get into the playoffs, don't give up youth and hold the bag on 2 players to not give yourself a good chance to win a ring. The Goni rule. If you with Mike Evans and Amari Cooper, are you a top 3 team? If yes, do the trade. If no, don't. In my opinion.
Okay, going. You want to do 2 more?
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Would you trade? This is Brian Bracey. He's in a 32-man dynasty league.
Good God.
Yeah. There's no quarterback spot. It's super flex instead. So you're going to play the quarterback there when you can. 0.75 tight end premium. Would you trade the 107 and Travis Etienne for Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce?
No. No, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. I think Travis Kelce. I'm gonna steal Wayne's thunder, and I think he'd start to depreciate very quickly. He got his ring. It just seems like players start to slide a little bit after this happens. I'm not going to get stuck holding the Kelce bag. I think the 107 in a 32 team is incredibly valuable. I want those picks. So no, I love Tyreek, but ETN is also a top 5 dynasty guy at his position. Not top 5, top 8 for sure. No way I'm doing that.
I don't hate the value. I don't hate the value. And Tyreek just I'm slobbering over Tyreek next year. I think Kelce has another good year next year. I'm not going to fight the Kelce train in my rankings again this year. But in 32, that 107's big. I'm going to stick with ETN in the 107.
Yeah, the 107's a usable player. Like almost no matter who you get, it's going to be more usable than anything in the double-digit ranges. Obviously, it's just massive. It's huge. So, I mean, just looking at the roster, it doesn't look great. He has Kenny Pickett as his starter, and he has Michael Gallup in the starting lineup as well. Kyle Pitts is in there. Yeah, I probably am going to have to hang on to ETN in the 107. I still think you can get solid value back for Tyreek Hill maybe next year, but you never know what happens. It could just be one of those cases of Tyreek Hill comes out and tears an ACL or something, and his season's over and value plummets next year.
Yep. All right. Last one. This is our blazing Reddit question of the Q&A. This one is got quite a bit of buzz around it. OK Tooth, 5894. 10-team PPR Superflex. Side A, Daniel Jones and Jamar Chase. Side B, Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman, Tony Pollard, Jordan Love.
Side A all day.
Side A.
Easy. Absolutely easy. Jamar Chase is just way too valuable, man. I know Stephon Diggs, he's that big guy. You look like you're not loving the answer that I'm giving you right now, Beggs.
Well, let's look at it. It's a super flex, and Daniel Jones is going to be better than Jordan Love, and then Jamar Chase is better than everybody over there. It's not like you're upgrading it's not like you're giving up Jamar Chase to upgrade at any other position. You're also, by doing that trade, you're downgrading at receiver and at quarterback.
How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm not going to get the broom out of the closet yet. It's a 10 team. So there's depth at quarterback, right? So Daniel Jones is probably a QB3. Is that fair to say?
Depending on the roster.
Probably
he was
not.
The QB9.
No. He's definitely in the super flex.
Obviously, Chase is incredible. I mean, Diggs and Pittman, I think it's a pretty good haul. Diggs, Pittman, and Pollard alone I think it's a good haul for Jamar Chase. You guys are shipping that out, right? No brainer.
No.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't like Pittman.
Well,
I've expressed my displeasure with him.
And you can't value this trade that way because the Daniel Jones side is downgrading at quarterback. Jordan Love is not starting on a 10-team Superflex. Daniel Jones is. So you're downgrading at quarterback. So you can't just say Daniel Jones for Jordan Love straight up and then Jamar Chase for these three guys. It doesn't work like that. If I'm a Daniel Jones owner and somebody offers me Jordan Love and Tony Pollard, I'm not taking it.
Yeah, Jordan Love is a depth piece.
And
like,
are you
taking insurance depth piece?
If you're a Jamar Chase owner, are you taking Diggs and Pittman for him?
No. Well, okay. His other quarterbacks are Burrow and Tua. Just so you guys know. Here's where I struggle. Jordan Love he's going to play if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets. Like that's what's rumored right now, right?
Right.
Love's the starter. We've seen him play in 5 games. We've seen 5 years of Daniel Jones. He was QB9 last year in a contract year, but that's not who he is. He's in the 20s. Fair to say? Unless you think Bull's the whisperer.
Okay, but at the same time, can you name like any of his receivers?
Yeah. Christian Watson, Dobbs.
No. I'm saying for Daniel Jones's entire career as a New York Giant, this man has never had a full cast of characters. Last year, I guess, was the closest he's gotten because he had Saquon, and some of the guys stayed healthy long enough. Kenny Golladay just rode off into the sunset with a big bag of money, but he played well. He didn't throw a lot of touchdowns. He only threw 15. He had 5 picks, which over the course of a whole season is really good. He needs to bring the touchdown numbers up, but he had 700 rushing yards and I think another 9 touchdowns on the ground. I don't know if he gets 9 touchdowns again, but sign me up for at least another 500 yards rushing. It's just part of his game, probably at least another 5 or 6 touchdowns. And then if we get, a tick up in the passing stats and touchdowns, 15 touchdowns it's in Justin Fields, who you hate, scored more. He threw more touchdowns than Daniel Jones did.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones in 3 years, 25, 24, 27. He exploded last year at QB9 again. Maybe the Brian Dable effect. I just think Jordan Love, I think he's in Daniel Jones's realm of being a mid-20s quarterback. I don't know how much you're really losing there.
Daniel Jones missed games all those years. He didn't play a full season all of those. Some of those he missed 4 or 5 games. I think 2 of those years he missed 4 or 5 games.
It's true. I'm really fading Danny Dimes. That's what's hanging me up on this trade because I think Jordan Love and Dimes are closer in my mind than I think they are for you guys. And I look at Diggs. How
close?
I think they're probably within 7 spots.
It's not very close.
It's not
very close at all.
I think they're both in the back half.
Back half of what?
QBs. I think Daniel Jones is QB 16.
I'll put a doink that Daniel Jones is in the top half of quarterbacks this year.
So 1 to 15
fantasy finishes.
1 to 16.
So you got
16.
1 to 16.
1 to 16.
Done.
All right. Pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Done. So I look at my return on this trade, and I'm getting Diggs, Pittman, and Pollard for Chase in a 10-team league. That's 3 starters probably. Right? That's 3 immediate starters. I like that.
Not in a 10-team. Absolutely not. Absolutely not in a 10-team.
Okay. These are 2 guys that I think I'm high on that you guys are not, which is Michael Pittman. I think last year was a blip. He's super talented, man. He had the worst. He just had horrendous quarterback play.
Yeah, horrendous quarterback play, but their offensive line is garbage too.
Yeah, I mean it's true.
It's trash. That's not going to be fixed with a quarterback.
Yeah, it was in shambles when they put up the wide receiver 2 season. I mean, it's the same line essentially. Not much happened.
essentially, but they played a lot better. They had one of the best offensive lines. That what's his face? Jonathan Taylor ran for 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns. Man, you don't do that with a bad offensive line.
Same players, same 5.
Well, Quentin Nelson's got some injury issues that are going on, and he's the anchor of that line.
Yeah, he's a stud. I don't know. It's closer to me than what you guys think. I like Pittman. I like Pollard. And I think Love's closer to Dimes. But you guys are probably right. You can get more for Chase. You guys talked me into it. Okay, too. I'm holding it. I think you can get a little more. I'm going to roll with my boys here. Brooms.
That's fine, though. I mean, your argument was solely off of just valuing other players different than we did. It's not necessarily just a random argument. You value Jordan Love a little bit higher and Pittman a little bit higher.
Yeah.
All right, Mad Mob, that is it. Sorry we ran a little deep into this one. Stay tuned. Saturday morning, we'll release the consensus tight ends, tell you how we did. Nobody really cares about tight ends, but we're going to do it anyways because we're the podcast for the people, and we're all for transparency. But more importantly, we're going to dive deeper into the Mad Fantasy Football Olympics. More details Saturday morning. Please follow us on Facebook, Mad Fantasy Football Podcast. We greatly appreciate y'all. We will see you next time.